One Florida county will rename a road after a conservative political activist, Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated earlier this month while speaking at a university in Utah. The Lake County Commission voted unanimously this week to approve the name change during a meeting that did erupt into some shouting, with some attendees apparently being removed after heated exchanges. I do want to bring in Commissioner Anthony Sabatini joining us live to discuss all of this here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. I know you are behind that proposal, so we appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask about the inspiration there behind this. What made you want to do this?
Well, I think Charlie Kirk is one of the most important leaders of my generation. I would also argue in American history. He led the largest youth movement, probably registered more young voters than any individual in the history of the country. And of course, he's going to be soon a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So there's a bunch of objective reasons why he should be honored, I think, everywhere in the country. But in addition to that, Charlie Kirk was actually a friend of mine. I spent quite a bit of time with him and got to know him very well, and just think he's a particularly interesting and significant person that just a very good person. Charlie was a really kind guy, and it was just tragic what happened. And I think that this memorial also is a way of pushing back against political violence. Even, no matter what your political views are, it's a way of saying political violence should always be condemned. We embrace the people who are victims of such a horrible thing.
How soon after he was killed did you come up with this idea? Did you decide, let's name a road after him and be the first place in the country to do so?
Basically, I mean, I was in total shock and reeling for about 5, maybe 6 hours after the shooting on the East Coast. I think it was about 2 o'clock. So about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I realized it was time to try to honor him in some significant, particular way. And going with a landmark or a road is the most popular thing to do. And we have a lot of roads here in beautiful Lake County, just outside Disney World. And this is one of the big commuter roads that I chose. It's right between sort of the Disney theme park area in Orlando and our more residential county. And I think it's just a road that's going to get a lot of eyes. People are going to see it, and it's going to say a lot about our community.
Wanted to ask you what broad message you want to get across, not just to even people there in Lake County, Florida, but across the country.
Well, I think the number one thing is that Charlie needs to be honored, that we honor people who do great things, like inspire civic revival in America, inspire Americanism in America. I mean, his fundamental belief is that America was the greatest country in the history of the world. And so anyone who has that kind of a belief, who is effective, I think should be celebrated. But secondly, like I mentioned, I think it's really about condemning political violence. I think somebody that doesn't actually find a lot of overlap with Charlie's values still believes that at no time in American history should we ever be even somewhat comfortable with political violence. So it's a way of pushing back against that too.
And of course, the investigation, as we mentioned, does continue here into all of this, as it is an active investigation. What does it say to you overall that when this was presented, you came up with it and the commission there approved it unanimously? What does that say to you?
I think it says that America's coming together in the aftermath of a tragedy. I think it means that a lot of people who generally, dissent from each other. I mean, our votes are not always 5-0. Most of the time, they're a 4-1 or a 3-2. But I think that the commission saw what happened. They learned about Charlie, especially in the 2 days after his momentous memorial service, which had 20 million viewers. And they learned about this man, and they said this is the right thing to do. Again, just a very uniting moment for the country.
As of course, we know that naming is underway. Do you know when that's actually going to happen? When the name will be changed, the signage, any of that?
So the sign was actually completed yesterday, and the installation is probably going to be in about 2 weeks, which even surprised me how fast our staff moved on that. Usually it's about a month or two, but I think they realized the political significance of this entire thing, so it needed to happen quickly.
Anyone else, whether it's in the state of Florida or across the country, that has reached out and said, we want to do something similar? Because as I mentioned, you are the first to do this, and it's possible that you could see others do the same thing.
Absolutely. I've been getting calls and texts from dozens of cities and counties around the country, around the South too, somebody in Alabama, Georgia. But I assume that obviously Arizona, where Charlie was living will take the lead. I think Glendale and Phoenix and Scottsdale will certainly do something. But Florida being the state that it is, and sort of being on the leading movement of conservatism in so many ways politically, I think other cities and counties will now follow our lead and do it. I know that Miami is looking at doing a pretty prominent road coming into the sort of the heart of the city. And I know that Brevard County is considering one now, I think as early as this week.
And we've heard that there is a consideration that's underway there over around Utah Valley University, where unfortunately this assassination did take place. Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and discuss all of this. Anything else that you want to make sure to add? Anything we missed before I let you go?
No, I think this was just a very positive way to react to a national tragedy. I hope more cities and counties do it, and I appreciate the time.
All right. Anthony Sabatini, thank you again. We appreciate it.